Think I've outgrown my 28 female relationship with my partner, 34 male. Help? So I, 28 female, have been in a relationship with my partner, 34 male, for going on 6 years now. Not gonna lie, a majority of our relationship hasn't been good. He would yell, scream, and honestly was just not a very good partner towards me, and I stayed because I loved him. Finally last year, he said something that just broke me. We got into an argument over whether a woman should be president, and it escalated into him belittling me and then saying that he had been using me for the past 5 years because I put a roof over his head, cooked for him, and did everything for him. I told him to pack his shit and get out of my house, and then he realized he fucked up. He started begging and crying, getting his sister, my mom and dad involved, asking for another chance and threatening to, well you know, himself. I held strong for a good while, but eventually the guilt from all sides got to me and I broke. I took him back. Problem is, I told him I wasn't going to let him bully me like he used to. Now he's gotten much better emotionally, he still has his moments but he's really gotten better, and now I am the problem. I honestly don't think I have forgiven him for what he said and all the shit I put up with for 5 years. Now when we fight, I am the asshole. I am the aggressor, and I am the one who is getting loud and belittling him. I am turning into a person I don't like. I think I've honestly outgrown this relationship. I think I need to do some self-healing, but I do not want to hurt him because at the end of the day I did love him. I just don't love him more than I love myself, anymore. I am finally choosing myself. Any advice on how to rip the band-aid off? Or do you guys think I should stick it out? Am I being rash? Help. He's manipulated you to think you're the aggressor. Classic textbook definition. Get out now. You are not being rash. There is no easy out. You need to just have the conversation and get it over with. Rip the band-aid off. You will be so glad you did. There is much better on the other side. Always choose yourself. You've realized you took him back out of peer pressure, not because he became a mature, respectful man. He may be better now, but he also knows his money ticket is on shaky grounds. He knows what he's doing. End it. Find your peace. Your behavior is called a trauma response. You are in a perpetual fight or flight mode, which will destroy you. Rip the band-aid off and end it ASAP. You have too much resentment for this relationship to be viable. And that's perfectly reasonable to have. I don't know if I can forgive my husband, 29M, for 1-2 seconds of strangulating me? 26F. Edit for the title. Strangling. We've been together for over 8 years now. Long story short, 5 weeks ago my husband and I got into an argument after a night out together, which continued the whole 1.25-hour drive home, then continued in our house. I didn't want to continue arguing, but he kept saying to come sit down, so I did. We were arguing over some shit that happened in the past, then out of nowhere he grabbed my throat and said, "Shut up. You're not gonna scream at me like that. I love you." By the way, I wasn't screaming at him before he did that. He grabbed my throat for 1-2 seconds, and it was enough that my throat hurt for a few days after. I had been justifying it because we had some beers beforehand, so I'm thinking, okay, he's drunk and wouldn't do that sober, right? There's no history of physical violence from him, but there has been emotional, verbal abuse the last handful of years. He has been super regretful and finally admitted he needed mental help, so he got on medication and is going to seek further help. My therapist told me it could have ended in fatality and that there's no excuse for that kind of behavior, as it could be worse the next time. She put things into perspective for me, and before I walked out she said, "I'm sorry you had to go through that, and I'm thankful you survived." Which really freaked me out cause I didn't think it was that severe. I didn't know it was considered strangulation until she informed me. She said he could have been charged with a felony and done time for what he did had I decided to press charges. Can he really do a 180 in his behavior and actions? We've been having multiple issues, especially within the last 2 years, to the point I have been clocked out emotionally. Is this worth waiting the rest of the year to see if he changes for the better? We have children, which makes things more complicated for me. I feel like I've minimized a lot of the previous verbal, emotional abuse and manipulation, but the grabbing me was a big thing for me. Even then I'm minimizing it by thinking he didn't strangle me unconscious. He did it for 1-2 seconds, so it could have been worse. Some women get it way worse than what happened to me, so maybe this wasn't as bad. I just feel lost. He's been overbearingly loving, regretful, and trying to do right, and if it's something I can get past despite his huge efforts over the last month. Can he change for the better? Short answer, no, he probably won't change for the better. If anything, he will get worse. Your therapist is right, it could have ended in fatality, and if you stay with him next time it might. I would recommend reading Why Does He Do That? By Lundy Bancroft. It might help put some things into perspective. Good luck, op, and please be safe. Just an FYI, it doesn't take that much pressure time to strangle a child to death. If he only did you for a few seconds and your throat still hurt a few days later, Imagine a little kid's neck under his big abusive man hands. You didn't mention your kid's ages, but imagine him strangling your child for just a few seconds. It only takes a few seconds to kill someone. The possibility of he killing you just rised over 700%. A person involved in a domestic violence attack of choking or strangulation is more than 750% more likely to be killed by their offender in the next year. Run. Save yourself and your child. It only takes seconds to cause serious harm. Run, leave, do whatever you can to get away from this man. This is the beginning and you have to get out before it gets worse. He started with the verbal and emotional abuse and now he's escalating. You need to leave before you can't. Next time he will kill you. Do not fall for his regret. If you let him get away with it this time, it will escalate until he kills you. All he has to do is strangle you slightly harder or longer and that's it for you. You need to leave ASAP, but call your local domestic violence center, not from your cell phone, and don't do an online search, and they will advise you on how to leave safely. Don't think he won't also abuse your kids, especially if you're murdered and he has sole custody. Do not even slightly hint you might be thinking of leaving. Leave while you can. The next time might be fatal. Am I, 27F, overreacting to my husband, 29M, visiting his best friend, 28F. He everyone, first time poster, so I'm sorry for any mistake. So I'll try to make as simple as I can. I am married to my husband for about 3 years. My husband has a best friend, let's call her Molly. They have been friends for around 18 years. Most of them they have been online gaming buddies, they have met several times over the years. Molly is engaged and expected to be married next year. So my husband is currently going on a 13-day vacation from Europe to the States to hang out with her. He's gonna stay at her house where she lives with her boyfriend and I am feeling extremely uncomfortable with it. Molly has visited us in the past when we first started to date and it was fine. I don't really think he would, there's nothing there except friendship, but anyways. They have been intimate only once and he kinda considered it as a lapse of judgment and that it should never have happened. The plan is to mostly stay at home, play and drink. What makes me very uncomfortable if they come to do this alone, because as I understand they both will have days they need to work. And on the weekends he'll be able to enjoy 2 of them. They plan to go out to bars to also drink. So I love my husband and I feel like I'm being selfish. But I haven't been able to shake this feeling, so I came clean about it today. He seems pretty sad about it. But it's now the days leading to this trip and him and Molly have been speaking quite frequently and I am unable to stop crying about it. I can't go because someone needs to stay behind to take care of the house and his daughter who doesn't have a passport yet, so can't make the trip. I'm just being stupid for feeling this way about a simple trip my husband's having. I have anxiety and depression and I take pills for it every day. It's the first time he's traveling since this started. My period is also coming around the time he leaves. I can't explain why, I just don't feel good with the whole situation. And now having told him and making him feel bad about it too? Maybe I'm an asshole. Too long did not read. My husband's is going on a trip to visit an old female friend of 18 years and I'm upset about it. So you have to stay back to look after his kid? Therefore you can't come? Seriously? He sounds extremely selfish to the bone. The craziest thing about this isn't that he's visiting a female friend, it's that you're going to take care of his daughter alone for 2 whole weeks while he goes on vacation. I'm sorry, but that is fucking crazy. Getting a passport is not that hard. You submit some paperwork online, bring it into the DMV with a photo and then wait a few weeks for a passport to come. He doesn't want to bring his daughter or you. He wants to fuck off to Europe for a few weeks and leave you with his responsibility. Have you guys ever gone on a 2-week vacation together, child-free? The female friend part is just the cherry on top of the shit sundae. I'm actually so angry for you. Taking a vacation to visit an old female friend without wife? And he had a lapse of judgment in the past. Don't you want a vacation with your hubby? Questionable all around, including staying with her. I would never allow that. Have you always been this foolish? Tell him you will help him pack to make sure he has everything he needs because he is not coming back to you. Lol, okay. Either I am the worst wife ever or people really put up with some crazy shit, because I would never be okay with this entire scenario. Staying home to watch his kid while your husband goes on a 13-day vacation with some chick he slept with once. No thank you. Doesn't he want to go on a 13-day vacation with you? This is unacceptable to me. My 31 male girlfriend's 31 female dog bit me. Now I can't even stand to look at it. First off, I've always been bad at grammar, so excuse that aspect of this post. Also, I realize I'm going to catch some fire for hating a dog, but here we go. My 31M girlfriend's 31F dog 5Y and about 10 pounds bit me for the 4th time the other day, and now I not only hate it but get put in a bad mood even thinking about it. I know we've been seeing each other for a few months, and until this most recent incident everything has been incredible. We hit it off from the first date and spend all of our weekends together and a ton of time on the phone during the week. For reference, I am a dog person and own a 8Y 70 pounds dog. Her dog is very territorial and antisocial with people, and the first 2 times I got bit were when I first met it and tried to pet it and it nipped my hand. My fault, and was not angry. Second and third time were on 2 different weekends, but the same thing. We were in bed and I didn't even know he was there and I put my arm over her and it nipped me again. Over the past number of weeks I've been doing things to try to make him like me without trying to push too much. Letting her put his leash on him, then me walking him with her, feeding him his favorite treats and letting him get used to my scent. They visited my apartment about a week and a half ago and the dog excitedly jumped on me, would lick me, and was letting me pet him and would come to me when called, which has not at all been the case in the past. He got on with my dog well too. She even made multiple comments about how he likes me now. Fast forward to Friday night and she meets me outside with him to let me in her garage at her apartment. They get in my car and he wags his tail and licks my arm excitedly as I am going to park. As we were getting ready to go out for dinner, I was ready and she was in the kitchen and he was on his bed in the living room. I approached him, held out my hand to pet him and talked to him as I had been saying something like, "Hey buddy, how's it going?" in the happy high-pitched voice most people use when talking to dogs. Then the dog clamped onto my hand and while it's too small to actually do real damage, it did leave a couple scabs from how aggressively it tried to bite me. I was pissed but didn't do anything to the dog and said nothing bad about it at the time. I just said I'm going for a walk to cool down. On my walk, instead of cooling down, I got more upset. It brought back the feelings I had when a dog I owned ended up being euthanized for biting about 7 years ago. He truly was a sweet dog but got defensive of me when someone was doing sprints on a football field we were on too close to me and he thought they were coming at me. He didn't clamp, just got in front of me, scraped his teeth on the runner's leg and then stood over me. It was an awful time. They held him for 10 days and I couldn't visit and then wouldn't even let me be there when they euthanized him. After reliving that in my mind, I thought about how if my dog had bit her with the same amount of aggression at which her dog bit me, we would be on our way to the hospital because it likely would have degloved her hand. She did punish the dog and take it to her sister's that night. It's only been a couple days, but now when I think about the dog or the incident, I get angrier than I can remember being in a long time. My past experience with my dog being put down, an annoyance that it wasn't taken too seriously when comparing it to the different results that could have happened had it been my dog biting. Her friends and family all seem to think I'm being irrational for my feelings towards her dog, which I have been completely honest about, since it's too small to hurt him, even with the context of my past. While my friends think that if I hate her dog that much I had to break up with her. Also, I'm an nurse and have been getting punched, kicked, bit etc. for a few years now and have not once had an overreaction or hit back, so it's not like I don't know how to control my emotions and temper. I am almost always super calm and am a very peaceful person. We have talked about it, and even with her knowing how I currently feel towards her dog, we both still want to keep seeing each other. She has lots of people to watch it in the coming weeks too while I cool off, so that's not an immediate issue. My question is, has anyone been able to make a relationship work while hating their SO's dog? Or any tips on how to trick my mind into not hating it so much? I also want to point out this is not a the dog or me ultimatum, because I wouldn't want to be with her if she was the kind of person who chose me over a dog she's had for 5 years. Too long did not read. Girlfriend's dog bit me multiple times. Have trauma from a dog of mine being euthanized for same reason. Her dog is small, so opinions from friends split on whether or not I am justified in being as mad as I am. Now can't stand to even think about her dog. Both of us still want to make it work. Why hasn't she socialized her dog? I don't think I could date someone who didn't take training their dog seriously. Too many dog owners are lazy and take it for granted for the reason your friends mentioned. Oh, it's a small dog, it doesn't matter. It absolutely does matter. To me, this reflects poorly on your girlfriend. It goes beyond the dog biting and what it says about her values and priorities. I feel like this is a very valid concern. How has this dog managed to bite you not once, but 4 times? I'd be absolutely pissed. I don't know what the solution is here, but I do think as the owner, your girlfriend should have a bit more concern and urgency for her dog injuring people, especially her partner. You said she punished the dog after the most recent bite. What exactly was the punishment? And what do you want to do moving forward? Not overreacting, but for the love of God, formatting please. You don't even need the past trauma to be annoyed by this dog biting you 4 times. So many pet owners ignore their dog's bad behavior just because they're small. She's not properly training him. Do you really want to be in a relationship with someone that allows this kind of behavior from her dog? With the dog being so territorial towards your girlfriend in their GF and dogs spaces, I would suggest that seeking a professional trainer's help in those environments would be the best option. The dog seems to be comfortable around you whilst outside of those environments, but overly protective at home. I think your concerns are 100% valid and rational. If the dog were to show this to anyone else visiting their environments, I think they'd have a similar reaction and might not be as forgiving. I think ultimately seeking a professional trainer's help might be the solution to prevent your girlfriend suffering a similar experience to yourself down the line. I'm also so sorry for the loss of your pet in such a manner. That's a terrible circumstance to lose a beloved pet. I think your girlfriend is in denial and downplays the gravity of the situation. If she does not correct the issue, and you insist on staying together, you might find yourself in a relationship where you can't relax and have a good time without being assaulted by an animal.